Welcome to the Marketing Drive. I'm Dan Nadelko, and we are driving and talking about marketing. So, a couple of episodes ago, I talked about how to build an audience, how to engage them, that audience building before pushing sales of a product is the strongest method you can use to... Just a sidebar. As I've been doing these, I'm noticing that I say a lot, and it's really, I find it personally annoying because I don't feel like I do that, but I do. And it's a little bit of an eye-opener to watch yourself, because I edit all of these videos. This whole thing is just me. No one on my team is really involved. This is kind of my own little gig. There it is again. But I do notice weird things about how I communicate that I'm finding by doing this. I'm understanding how I can improve my own communication, which is, I guess, just a little bit of a sidebar. Anyhow, just to get back on track or stay on the road, get the pun, get it? I was talking a little bit about, building an audience and building perceived value and value for somebody at low or no cost. No cost, effectively, I think, is the best way to do it. And it got my mind turning on various types of campaigns that we're in the middle of running right now, paid campaigns, but also ongoing engagement campaigns, which is really kind of building out the customer journey and figuring out how to engage with your audience and turn them into customers and then turn them into advocates by continuing with them down that path after their first kind of transaction. So it was interesting because I'm trying this keto diet. I'm on a bit of a health kick this new year. Me and my wife are, we're not doing the full keto thing. We're that's a pretty, it feels strict. So we're definitely improving. And this morning I made a keto breakfast for my wife and for myself, and eggs and stuff for the kids. Anyhow, I was using this as an example. If I were going to launch a ketosis product of any kind, what I would do in terms of audience building. So the question is how do you build the audience, right? I talked about the fact that you should build the audience, you should provide value to the audience, but I didn't really give kind of a tactical example of how you would do that. So I'm using myself as an example. It's 7 o'clock, 6:45 in the morning. I'm standing in the kitchen trying to figure out what to make. And my wife had pointed out this cool omelet with bacon, cheese, and chives. So I was Googling keto breakfast recipe. I was doing this on my phone, standing in the kitchen, using myself as a potential audience member. And I came across this site, which was actually the same recipe that my wife had found the night before, randomly because I was searching it on Google. And I had Googled keto breakfast omelet, and keto breakfast ideas, and the same one popped up on all three. And it's a site called rule.me, and it looks a lot like kind of about.com, really, handy tips and things you can do, easy, quick breakfast type ideas. Then that got my mind turning around, if I were selling a ketogenic product of any kind, how would I find this kind of engaged fan base to begin the conversation with? And this leads into something I've talked about before in terms of SEO, seed and stem keywords, and getting into the mind of your audience and really understanding what it is that their motivations are from that persona or audience development, the addressable audience that I talked about before. So it's kind of an interesting real-world example is to say, if I'm selling a ketogenic product and doubling down on things like keto breakfast ideas, keto lunch ideas, because regardless of what supplement you might be taking, you are living a keto lifestyle, right, as a diet. And I wouldn't call it a diet, I would call it a way of eating that's a little bit different. It's very filling. But regardless of that, how do you find the people that are interested potentially in your supplement? Well, it's content creation around the very real issue of whatever supplement I'm using. I've got to eat a breakfast, lunch, and dinner that is either completely in line with the keto philosophy or has some sort of like very strong alignment with it. But this is something you do multiple times per day. If I'm taking part in this, I'm not just taking a drink supplement. I'm eating, I'm trying to do some exercise, I'm trying to get better sleep, I'm trying to be healthier in general as opposed to be on a diet. So this is, again, circling back to audience building. How do I build this audience? So creating content around the keywords that land on a micro moment. So my micro moment this morning was, I really want to have a good breakfast that follows in line with the keto way, which is, just low carbs. I mean, to be very basic, I don't really know that much, to be honest with you. But what I want to be able to do is hit people at the micro moment when, if I have my product, that they're searching for a keto breakfast idea, keto breakfast omelet, fast keto breakfast. Now you can see what I'm doing just by thinking about my audience and getting a little bit into their heads about what it is that motivates them, what their pain points are. So a pain point, if I'm the persona, is it's hard to find quick, easy breakfast ideas. We've got 3 kids, our mornings are fairly hectic. I tend to wake up early to try to get things like breakfast set up, but certainly don't have time to, go through a massive breakfast process on a daily basis. So now I'm hitting into the psyche of the audience, the pain point of the persona, and I'm thinking about terms that I would use if I was Googling those terms. And I'm on my phone, I'm standing in my kitchen, it's 6:45 in the morning, and I'm trying to get an idea of something I have in the fridge with a few ingredients, but not too many. And then out of that, I get keto breakfast ideas, keto breakfast omelet, keto omelet. Now I'm going to do keto lunch. Now, if you think about it, if you're selling one of these products, your job is to try to be available, convenient, and useful during that micro moment, because that micro moment comes and it goes very, very quickly. So if you're thinking about keyword research, and often keyword research is thought of as, and this happens every day at Honeypot Marketing, we need to get keyword research done. Let's shunt it. Let's shunt it over to the All Jazz Network. Sometimes likes to talk. It's shunted off to a team member. They do it, and then everybody else gets the keywords, and then they ride off of that. But I think the thing to do is to step back a step. Put yourself in the position of your persona in a real world situation, understanding as you're trying to you're hitting multiple things here. You're hitting your persona development, you're hitting your addressable audience, you're hitting pain points, you're hitting keyword research. Keyword research is one of the most invaluable things that you can do regardless of your product, because more than keyword research, and everyone will dial it down to my Google keywords, what you're really doing is you're really getting into the psyche of that individual. Because when someone is searching, they're searching about their needs, their wants, their hopes, their aspirations, right? Those micro moments, and they come and they go fairly quickly if you think about how you would search Google or how you search anything, Facebook as well. So to take that step back from quote unquote straight keyword research, put yourself in the position of your target or addressable audience, their persona, and start thinking about putting yourself in that position. And then what would you search for? What would you look for? And don't just limit search to Google, because I think that often is the case. What would trigger you if you saw a friend on Facebook, right? With a post, a recipe, anything else, a tweet, an Instagram image, a Snapchat, keep going down the line. So when we talk about keyword research and when we talk about all of these things that seem really fuzzy, they all kind of pull together and they come together underneath one umbrella that's a really holistic view of how to build an audience. And you can see it's not as simplistic as saying just create a PDF checklist. That's the outcome of it. The beginning portions of that process are starting with the cores of what that product is. And again, I'm using a ketogenic supplement drink as an example. I am an addressable audience because that is of interest to me, to be healthy, to lose more weight, to be in good shape. I'm an older dad. I don't want to be 55 and barely able to walk. I want to be in great shape so I can keep up with my kids when they're in their teens. So putting myself into that position, I can easily think of keyword research. Those keyword research items, keto breakfast omelet, lead me to that micro moment. Now there's probably millions of people like me. And if I'm developing a campaign out around that keto supplement, and I start thinking about the fact that a keto diet is breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, how much water you should drink. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that go into this. So what I want to be able to do is put myself in the position of the persona, start thinking about the things that person would search about during their micro moment of need, which was me at 6:45 this morning, standing in the kitchen, trying to find ingredients that would give me a good, easy, and really good breakfast. And all of a sudden, this keyword research that usually gets shunted off to one team member to use the Google AdWords planner or some other tools, whether it be WordStream or any of these other fantastic tools, which are very helpful, I'm able to build out a keyword list in my mind while I'm just thinking about it. At that point, I can then start to craft content, recipes, recipe books, a whole keto week, right? So that someone isn't struggling every day to try to figure something out, because that's a point of failure in that whole process. But you can see how putting yourself in the place of the persona, understanding that this keyword research, you're really